Okay. Okay. Hey, everyone, and welcome to BNI Woodlands Dream Builders. So officially, this is week 2 of training because this fabulous chapter just got launched a couple weeks ago. So yay! We're excited that you all are here and ready to learn today. So just a disclaimer. So normally we do not record BNI meetings, but since this is a training, I am recording. So just be aware, if you don't touch your face too much or do things that you don't want to be seen on camera, I guess. So we are recording today just for training purposes. And then we ask you, everyone who's on the meeting, be in a good place where you're checking your Wi-Fi. Of course, we do want you on mute for now until it's your turn to speak, just to make sure there's no background noise. And we do want to see your face, right? We're on this Zoom world, and which is great, but normally we'd be in an in-person BNI meeting and we would see each other's face. So we definitely want to see your face here on the video. So please turn your video on and go ahead and mute your microphone, if you will. Okay, so visitors, which we, I guess, don't officially have any other visitors unless Rocky's visitor ended up popping on. I don't see them, but any visitors, as they join, if the visitor host can alert them to put their information in the chat, that would be great. And visitors, at the end of the meeting, we're going to ask you to make a very important decision if you haven't already. And we want to see if you want to lock out your competition and join this fabulous chapter. So we want to welcome you. Okay, so let me introduce the leadership team. So first off, my name is Becky Ford. I'm actually the area director of this fabulous chapter. Normally, Alicia Hicks would be speaking right now as president, but she had something she could not voice today. So I will be, can we mute the line, please? Thank you. So normally Alicia would be doing this part, but instead it's me. So I would like to introduce our wonderful Vice President, Heather Chavez.
Hello. So I had to do my voice through my phone because for whatever reason it's not working through my computer. So I hope I did it right and everybody can hear me. Yes? Okay, good. My name is Heather Chavez. I'm with Realty One. I have the residential real estate chair here, and I'm kind of like the HR department. Whether that's good or bad, I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. We take the applications, we see if somebody is a good fit for us and we're a good fit for them to be a part of this group. So I also want to just real quick, just welcome Sonia. Thank you so much for saying it's a good fit. So we're excited to have you.
I'm excited.
We're also part of the membership committee, and on the membership committee we had Jeannie Seabrot, Christy Thomas, Ashley Morgan, and Katie Dake.
Awesome. And membership committee, you can just like wave when she announces you there. Okay, let's hear from our Secretary Treasurer, Amber Odell.
Hi, I am Amber Odell. I'm with Hank Scholl State Farm. I am the money person, the attendance person, I'm gonna call you on all your mess person. So that's me.
Awesome, thank you. And then we have a mentor coordinator, Jennifer Smith, and I didn't give her a heads up, so I'll kind of speak for her. So when you join BNI, you're not alone. You actually get coached and mentored and to teach you how to be a good BNI member. So that's what we do as mentor coordinators. So thank you, Jennifer. And hopefully you are welcomed by our visitor host, Julia Mortar. You can just wave during that. And normally in our meeting, we have an education moment that would be led by Brianne Turner. Since this is a training, it'll be led by me. But next week, we'll get to hear from Brianne, who's our education coordinator. And then I'd like to introduce our chapter support director, Shannon Harris. And she can just wave too there. So those people will just kind of wave, right? Okay. All right, so in BNI, you know, something that we hold very, very firm and are very excited about are our core values. These are very important to us. One of the things that we're doing right now is this lifelong learning, right? Like I want to focus on lifelong learning a minute. When you join BNI, you really get taught how to be a good networker, how to learn how to showcase your business so that people can find referrals for you, and then learn how to listen so you can give referrals to other people. So we have lots of opportunities to learn within the meeting and outside the meeting as well. So lifelong learning is very important to BNI. And I'd like to ask Shannon Harris to talk about one of her favorite core values. Shannon Harris. Can you hear us, Shannon?
Sorry, I forgot I wasn't on mute. I'm Shannon Harris, and I'm a member of the BNI Unlimited chapter, and I'm the support director for your group. And my favorite core value, well, I like them all actually, but I love the building relationships part because it's really intentional. And I didn't quite get that when I joined BNI, why we need a meeting every single week. But the more that I get into BNI and the more that I build those relationships, I totally understand what that means. And so if you really want to build, those relationships so that you can refer with confidence, right? And then it comes back to that whole giver's gain. And then you're really referring to those people that you know as friends. And if you're just meeting once a month, it's harder to build those relationships. And when we're not in COVID, it's also important, Becky taught me this in the beginning, to go to those outside events, those happy hours, and that's where you really start cultivating those relationships. So it is a really important value that we get at BNI. So that's one of my favorites.
Thank you. All right, you can see the others there on the screen. All right, so purpose and overview. So BNI, this is the largest networking organization. It's global, it's 35 years old, there's a proven system. Like we don't have to try to figure things out. BNI's done that for us, right? And so what that means is because we track everything and so we're tracking these referrals, we're tracking the dollars that it puts in your pocket. In the last year, globally, we have passed over 12 million referrals. And that has resulted in over $16 billion. So what we're doing here is getting a piece of that pie. And I can expect that this next year, that's even going to be bigger with all the growth that we've had, even during this time of COVID. Our philosophy is giver's gain. So even though we join a networking organization to grow our business, you know, it's kind of selfishly, we want to grow our own business, right? But we teach you how to give referrals to everybody in your chapter. And in turn, if everybody is doing that for one another, it's going to naturally come back to you. And so I'd like to call on Amber Odell to share a little story about what giver's gain means to her.
So I had a nice one-on-one with Miss Katie Dake, and I personally can write health insurance, but it is not my forte at all. And so after many conversations with her, I have been able to pass things to her. And then I know that she passes things on to others. And it's funny that there's very, very rare times that she'll be able to pass things back to me. But it's kind of like, I don't know, like a circle. Like if I give you something, someone else is going to give me something on the backside. So, and then on the giving side for me, I've gotten many things from Heather where I haven't been able to hand it back to her. But it's a circle, and it comes back always comes back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Amber. All right, let's get into some networking education. So in every BNI meeting, normally this is a 3 to 5 minute networking education moment where we learn something about that's BNI related. This is going to be a little bit longer because we're in a training session and I'm going to lead it today. And we're going to have a topic on one-to-ones. So how to have an effective one-to-one. So let me ask you this. Why do we conduct one-to-ones? Does somebody want to take themselves off mute and answer that? What do these one-to-ones do for us? Go ahead.
So, like Amber was saying, she does property and casualty insurance mostly, and I do health. There's a million people out there who do insurance, of course, but it really gets to know them better as a person. You learn more about what they really care about, their clients, what they're looking for, and that you can truly trust them. And feel if you're a first mate to, then you can trust they're going to do the right thing, whether it's to give them a new policy or tell them to stay where they're at. And you just feel more comfortable with them.
Absolutely. So you said a word that I was looking for, and that was build trust. When you come into a group like this, trust does not happen automatically, right? It is about building relationships like Shannon talked about. It is about building that trust. So one-to-ones are very important to do. And so a term that we like to talk about in BNI is the idea of VCP. So VCP is visibility plus credibility equals profitability. So we join BNI because we want that P, right? We want to be profitable. But in order to get that, we've got to start with being visible. Visibility is all about showing up to meetings, not just showing up, but participating. Even in the chats, people want to see your name. People want to see you on social media and talking to one another. So being visible, the credibility comes in through one-to-ones, right? Like you're building that credibility into one-to-one. As you pass referrals and you get good results, right? Like that's going to build that credibility. And then ultimately that will equal that profitability. So the one-to-ones really come into that visibility and credibility section. And that's all part of getting profitable. So very important practice is, and I sent an email to you guys on this, at least with the document, but you want to exchange your bio and gains sheet ahead of time. And so basically you want to have that filled out, always ready to go, always updated. And before any one-to-one, you want to email that to the other person. And sometimes, I will admit, there have been times I have forgotten to send my bio and gains. And so it's always good if one person does it, it kind of can remind the other person, oh goodness, I need to send mine too. So when should you send your bio and gains? It would be great to be 24 hours ahead of time, but even at the bare minimum, get it to them an hour before the meeting or at least right before, so they can have that kind of filed away for you. But here's what you do with the bio and gains. As you're looking through that, it kind of gives you a starting point of something to talk about. You might find a commonality that you won't necessarily think to bring up in a one-to-one. That could be that your child plays soccer, when you're talking about what your interests are and that kind of thing. You might find that you're in the same league. I found out recently that somebody else that I was having a one-to-one with was at Enron, one of my companies that I worked at the same time I was. And it gives you that commonality and instant connection with somebody. And it just kind of speeds up the whole process that you're trying to accomplish in that one-to-one, making those discoveries. So definitely fill out your bio and gains sheet, the actual sheet that I sent you. There's also an opportunity to put that in BNI Connect. So just copy that over there as well. And that way it's there for people that are connections with you on BNI Connect. And then send that ahead of your meeting. Then in an effective one-to-one, typically it's about an hour long. And in a one-to-one, it's about 30 minutes each. So it's never one-sided, right? You each spend about 30 minutes talking about your business. And so what that could look like up front, because you don't know each other and everything about your business yet, it's very much teaching people about what you do. That's generally how those first one-to-ones start. It's like, here's what I do. Let me teach you about my business, right? Over time, you're not going to need to say that over and over to your chapter members. They're going to know, right? So you could, a legit one-to-one could be on a more personal level, getting to know each other personally. But here is what makes a one-to-one a one-to-one. So no matter if you're talking about your business and the details of it, and no matter if you're talking about just the personal stuff and how, just getting to know each other on a personal level. Either way, part of what you want to do is have this referral strategy session. So the whole point of a one-to-one is to really dig down into each other's network so that you can find out who they know. And if I'm looking for a chiropractor, let's say, and I'm asking, do you know any chiropractors? Here's why they're great. And I start asking somebody, who do you know that's a chiropractor? Well, I don't really know any. Then we go to something else. We just start digging down into their network to figure out who they do know. And you're teaching them how to refer you. And so what should really come out of a one-to-one is at least one referral for each of you, okay? So if you're doing a one-to-one right, it's at least one referral or the hope of one referral. So what I have done before, because I don't necessarily, sometimes I'm doing a referral right on the spot. I'm kind of this, let me text them now while I'm with you. And I'll say, hey, and I did that with a friend that has, he does app development. And he was saying that he needed a car repair company was a good referral for him. And I'm like, hey, I know a guy in another BNI. Let me text him right now and see if he's open to chatting with you. And sure enough, in that one-to-one, I got a response. And my friend said, yeah, I'll talk to him. And so I was able to immediately connect them, and that was a referral. So it was all in that same one-to-one. If I had not gotten a response from the car repair guy, I would have gotten back with my person. Like I would have tried to see if they were open to it. Well, and then I would have exchanged information after the fact, and that would have been a legit referral. So you definitely want to not waste your one-to-one time by just going to lunch, right? Like, yes, you can do all the niceties and the getting to know one another, but the last 5 or 10 minutes, dig down into each other's network and find that referral to one another, for one another. So any questions on that? Okay, and then a guideline and a standard that we have in BNI is that you have one-to-one each week. So obviously right now with a group so new, you want to be doing that anyway, right? So that they can learn about your business and you can learn about theirs. But even ongoing, people's business change. They're looking for different kind of people each week. So it's very important to have a new one-to-one each week. And I encourage you to really spread it out throughout the whole chapter. Sometimes people can get in the habit of you like certain people and you tend to have, the most one-to-ones with them. That's okay. But make a point of, I haven't had a one-to-one with this guy over here that's not necessarily in my contact sphere, but I'd like to see how I can help them. And so just be aware of that and try to have a one-to-one with somebody that you haven't had one in a while. Okay, so now let's talk a little about referrals. So in BNI terms, a referral is just an opportunity. This is an opportunity to do business. So it counts as a referral, even if you don't know for sure that it's going to lead to closed business. Sometimes people get a little confused. They think it already has to be a done deal for it to count as a referral. But a referral is just an opportunity to do business. And in BNI, we give that opportunity to our chapter members. Does that mean that you only can give that opportunity to BNI? No, like there are times that I give that opportunity to a couple different people. It'll be my chapter member, but it may be a different BNI member. Or if I have a friend, that does something too, I might give the opportunity to a couple. But bottom line is you want to build that relationship with your chapter members and give that opportunity to them by giving a referral. And so let's talk about referral versus lead. So when we're talking referral in BNI, we're talking about 3 parties being involved, okay? So you, your BNI member, and the person that is needing the product or service, okay? So that means in order for a referral to be legit and for us to actually call it a referral and count, the power should be in the BNI member's hands, okay? So what a referral would look like was, so my friend needs a new hairstylist, right? And I see it on Facebook, and I of course want to send her to my hairdresser because she's wonderful. So instead of just tagging her, which I might do that too, right? But I reach out to that person and I say, hey, I've got this great hairstylist. This is why she's great. She can really help you find, she actually owns the salon. She can really help you find the best person for your hair. Can I have her call you? And then that person usually says, yes, here's my number. And then I take that number and that name and give it to my hairstylist friend and say, hey, I have a referral for you. This is what they're needing. You know, give them a call. That is a referral. If I had left it alone and just done a tag or gave somebody a business card for my hairdresser and just said, here, call my friend. If it is only a 2-person type of interaction, that's a lead. And in BNI, leads are fine. Like those, there's a time and a place for those too, but they don't count as referrals. And we don't stop there with just leads, right? So you want to make sure that you're getting that information into the hands of that BNI member to be counted as a referral. Any questions there? Okay, so, and this is all from your training, so this should be more of a refresher and kind of, I'm clarifying some things versus brand new information to you, right? So in BNI, in the MSP, it's talked about the 5 levels of referrals, okay? BNI members start at level 3 and above. At least that's what we consider it to be a referral. So that's where you are qualifying that need, just like the example I just gave. You're qualifying the need and you're telling the person how they can, tell the person how help them solve their problem, whatever, how the person can help them solve their problem. And then you're connecting them. That's that level 3 referral, right? Even better than that is still qualifying the need, but now you could go that step further. And that's actually what I did in that meeting with the app person and the car repair guy. I actually set up the appointment since we were texting back and forth, and said, yeah, he can be there. You know, he's going to call you right after this or whatever. So I actually ended up giving a level 4 referral in that one-to-one, which was really awesome because I got that immediate response. And then even better, so what if you were having lunch and you ended up inviting somebody to your table that you could connect because you knew that the 2 of them could have a great connection and it could lead to a referral? That's even better. When you can have a meeting with all 3 people that are involved, that's like the cream of the crop type of referral. So whether it be a 3, 4, or 5, it doesn't matter. It just needs to be a 3 for it to count in BNI. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean we don't ever do the 1 or the 2, okay? So the 1 or the 2, the authorized use of your name, that's where, you know, if a friend of mine is walking into that hair salon and sees my friend there, my friend Renee, the hairstylist, and says, you know, Becky Ford sent me, kind of thing. That's fine. That's a level 1. If they end up doing business, I would want to know, because then I could like retroactively count it as a referral. Same thing with number 2, the pass along a personal letter or email of recommendation. This happens a lot of times, and I can tell you I do this a lot. If I'm just trying to connect people in different contact spheres, there might not be a need, an immediate need right now, but I know in the future that they just need to meet and to see, maybe get to know each other, because I think they could help each other out. You know, I'm always trying to connect people like that. That would be a level 2. I'm not counting it as a referral because there hasn't been a need. I'm just making that connection. And so that could look like, hey, I just want to introduce you to my friend. This is why they're so great. And I think that you could help each other if y'all connect, right? So I'm sending that kind of email or text to one another. If that ends up turning into some kind of business or need, then they let me know and I turn that in as a referral. So hopefully that's clear and what we call referrals. And then, so especially because we are in this new chapter, right? It's important to realize that referrals just don't necessarily happen immediately. A lot of it can kind of depend on what someone does for a living. It's much easier to have that immediate trust maybe in somebody like the health and wellness, right? Health and wellness field, that's an easy, generally a lower dollar investment kind of thing, right? It takes a lot more confidence to turn over all of your money to a financial advisor, right? So depending on what you do can definitely adjust on this confidence curve, but overall the confidence increases as time increases. And you'll look and you'll see here there's these tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 type of referrals. Generally we start out trying people out for them ourselves, right, as chapter members. So if I'm going to use Amber's insurance, I'm going to check it out for myself, right? Like, let me see what you can do for me kind of thing. That's a tier 1. When a BNI member is using another BNI member, that's a tier 1 level referral. That's how a lot end up starting, because you're trying to figure out, how does this person do? And you're gaining those stories too, around the experience that you can share with others. So as time goes on, that trust starts to build. Of course, you're also doing one-to-ones in there. And then that leads to tier 2 referrals. So tier 2 referrals is now where you start referring your friend to Amber. You start, using people outside of BNI, and you want to refer that friend to Amber. And then the magic really starts to happen when now that friend that used Amber talks to her friend that also needs insurance, and that's considered a tier 3 referral. So it's always good to keep, the person that originally gave that referral isn't always going to know that these tier 3s are happening. So it's real important that there's good communication with the person that received the referral and the person who gave the initial one. So a lot of times in that case of a tier 3, where now my neighbor has referred her neighbor, I never even knew about it, right? But they've used Amber for insurance. Amber needs to tell me, hey, by the way, your neighbor referred somebody, turn in a referral for that other person. So there's got to be a good communication there with everybody. All right, any questions on one-to-ones and what counts as a referral? All right. Well, now I would like to introduce our wonderful vice president again, and she's going to congratulate some people and do some networking leader introductions. So Heather, you want to take it away?
Yes, I do. So in the spirit of recognition, which is one of our core values, we want to recognize for people who completed the MSP, which is awesome. I'm going to tell you, when doing it myself, I've learned a lot and a lot of information. It's very overwhelming, but glad to get through it, and glad to have this repetition of hearing what we already learned. Alicia Hicks, Amber Odell, Rand Turner, myself, Justin Brooks, Tony Purry, Jonathan Corral, Katrin Becker, Jennifer Smith, Julia Mortar, and in red are the ones that just completed it. Yes, the new ones: Paris, Heidi Subarat, and Katie Day. Congratulations! Thank you, guys.
Yay! So thank you those that got their MSP done. It's so important that you do that. And I like to see that more people are getting that done. There's a few others that you're past my deadline, so please continue. This is all for your success in BNI. And that's why we do it. It's not about us, just making you do it, right? Like, it is going to help you so much. All right, now this next section, we want to recognize and welcome our new member to the chapter, who officially today is a new member. And I want to officially welcome Sonia. And next week, we'll hear from her in the commercials. Next week, when we have this meeting and we have visitors attending, we're actually going to give Sonia a few minutes to speak here as well, so that we can hear about what helped her make that decision to join BNI. So we'll hear from you next week when we have more visitors.
Cool.
And then another thing we'll do next week is officially induct all of these new members. Since this is a brand new chapter, we'll actually do the induction at the meeting next week when we have our visitors. So we'll be using this page then. All right, so now we're going to head into really one of the most important parts of the meeting, and that's when we get to hear from our members, right? We want to hear what we can give them this week for a referral. And so if you remember, since we're in training mode here, you remember we went over this, what your weekly presentation should have, and we heard from half of the chapter. We're going to hear from the other half of the chapter today. And so doing something a little different than we normally do in a meeting, but we're going to give feedback after these people. So I'm going to fly through the next few screens, because we've already heard from, let's see, a few of you. I think we got through, let me see, did we get through, I think it was Jennifer Smith. Let me see if I can go back. Backspace, there we go. Jen, did you go last week? Yes, okay. And Jonathan, you didn't, correct?
I didn't go, not yet.
Okay, so you're up.
All right, do I start right now or?
Here, I'll give you the full 60 seconds and go.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Farrell with Elevated Technologies. I am the business development manager there. I hold the IT cybersecurity seat. A little things that we do is IT cybersecurity and data protection services. Last week, we just onboarded a company named JP Steel, and we are currently looking for more businesses that are like them. What they do is they're a supplier of metals, and I believe they do wood as well. But Elevated Technologies comes with a guaranteed satisfaction or your money back, no questions asked. And we also do free cyber risk assessments to give you a proper assessment on your business. I am Jonathan Farrell with Elevated Technologies.
All right, thank you. So who would like to give him some feedback?
Don't be shy.
I may have missed it, but I think ask for a referral at the end, or who would be the ideal referral.
Yeah, you didn't have your ask, like who you're looking for this week.
I said metal companies.
Okay. So
yeah.
So I would be a little
like metal
more
suppliers.
Yeah, so I'd be a little more specific and maybe say companies like, because in my mind, I'm thinking, what's a metal company? So
Okay.
I would add in at least companies like and start listing some that might jog a memory. Because for those of us that aren't really, maybe I'm just not smart in that category, but nothing came to mind for me at all. So.
Yeah, they're pretty, yeah, I could have elaborated more.
Yeah. All right.
Julia's not here this week.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll go with Justin/Jessica.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, my dog's been quiet this whole time, and now all of a sudden they start barking. But my name is Jessica Brooks. I'm from Pet Comfort Solutions. We hold the HVAC chair. In these times of a worldwide pandemic, why not feel safe in the environment you live in and frequent? And Air Scrubber gives you that peace of mind that for the air around you is safe. It emits hydrogen peroxide and kills H1N1 viruses, reduces allergens, reduces dust, cleans the air in 30 minutes, and surfaces within 2 hours. So our special with the air scrubber is if you purchase one, you get a mobile one. And that mobile one you can take to your office, you can put in your car, all those things. So what we're looking for this week is any restaurant owners in the Woodlands, because if they put it into their restaurants, then they know their customers feel safe when they come and visit.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any feedback?
I like the specific referral request, because I mean, I can think of lots of restaurants in the Woodlands, but as restaurants is a generic, and I like the specific. Yeah. Good one.
Yeah, and I also thought so you could have focused on just one of the things that you do. It was a little bit of a laundry list to me. It sounded like I started to get like, okay, what?
So that was only one thing that we do. It's an air purifier.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha.
And it was just all the things that that air purifier does. But
oh, okay, okay. See, clearly one-to-ones would help us know that, right?
but our business is HVAC. That's just one thing that we do.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Oop, I didn't mean to make the time go. Okay, Katie.
I'm ready. Hi, my name is Katie Dake. I am your licensed health insurance agent. I'm licensed in over 20 states, helping small business owners and self-employed individuals with medical, dental, and vision coverage. I have a client who is a plumber. He owns a small business. He previously had a marketplace plan where he couldn't see his doctors. He was told where to go, and he also had a high deductible. I was able to find him a plan that gives him a PPO to see any doctor, any hospital in the country, and lowered his health insurance premium. So this week, I'm looking for other plumbers in the area in Montgomery County who have less than 10 employees who would like help with their health and benefits.
Very good. Feedback for Katie?
Nobody make me cry.
The only thing I would say, Katie, that was great was because I messed up on this last week and forgot to say my name and business again at the end.
That's good.
Otherwise, you had a really specific ask and it was a great story. I thought you did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the story too. Good job, Katie.
Yeah, it's always good to close out, right? Like, and I'm Katie Dake, and you know, and something that we haven't even talked about. Some chapters will do a tagline. That's totally up to you guys. Like the way I closed out mine was, you know, I'm Becky with Young Living Essential Oils, and let me help you drop into your bliss. So that's up to y'all if y'all want to have that. Oops. Keep pushing buttons. I'm sorry. Goodness. All right.
Here I am. Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Thomas with Edward Jones, and I help people with their financial needs, specifically people that are retiring in this pandemic world we're in and the market the way it is. A lot of people are having to take retirement. Most specifically, recently, I've been working with United Airlines employees. There's a large turnover in that area, and basically I just help the people that have worked there for 30 years. They're having to retire, they're not really ready, and they get a large lump sum pension from the airline, and they just don't even know what to do with it. They don't know what they want their retirement to look like or anything like that. So basically I just get to know them, talk to them about their goals, what does retirement look like for them, and then we invest accordingly, and I just help them plan their retirement. Christy Thomas, Edward Jones.
All right, feedback for Christy. I don't know why the number stopped at 27. There we go. Anybody have feedback?
I thought it was very clear and specific, especially saying United Airlines, because I personally have been talking to people who have lost health coverage because they were laid off from United.
Yeah, so definitely saying a company name like that, you can think of all the United people that work for United. That was good. All right, great job.
She's out today. She's got a sick kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Sonia, it's your turn next. We're throwing you in. Give it a shot.
All right, why not? Oh, where'd you get that picture? I'm Sonia Bersani with Cherry Creek Mortgage. and I am a mortgage professional. I've been in the business 17 years. And my client or referral ask, I would say, is anybody that's looking to buy a home or refinance a home. I definitely specialize in working with veterans. About 40% of my business is working with veterans to purchase or refinance a home. So if you know any that are looking for help with financing, I'd be happy to help. I don't know why I just echoed. I'm Sonia Bersani with Cherry Creek Mortgage.
All right, awesome.
Can you hear me? Okay.
So feedback for Sonia.
I think she did a good job for her first time going. She hit all the key points.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So definitely, it sounded like the focus was veterans, and that's what you want when I send you the training. We talked about the kind of the breakdown and what you want to kind of pick, especially with something like anyone buying or selling. When we use that word anyone, it's too wide, right? We want to get more specific. So it could be an area of town, veterans in, the zip code, somebody who, what age of a veteran, how, like a new veteran, somebody who's older, just kind of get more specific. It helps people come to mind that way. But you can watch the video from last week and that'll help you too.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tony Pari. I'm with Comcast Business. And as far as referrals go, I am currently looking for commercial real estate, specifically more in the retail strip centers located in the Woodlands area. And what I do basically is provide business. A lot of times people will give me information about, hey, I have a buddy that's moving homes. Only businesses is all I deal with, Comcast Business. And so really just businesses, whether they're needing internet service, cable, office phone systems, we do those as well. So all of those would fall under my umbrella. And yeah, that's it. Tony Pari, Comcast Business.
Okay, awesome. Feedback for Tony.
Got a little bit laundry listy at the end. Just a little bit.
Yeah, so something that could also make that, it was good that you said commercial, like clarified that you do commercial and commercial businesses in the Woodlands. This is where knowing maybe some new development, maybe a strip center that's brand new, you could say, hey, there's a new strip center that just opened up. I'd love to meet the owners, of that new strip center and kind of give a location. That's just a suggestion for you. Or call out a very specific, like, who do you know that is in the strip center where Sam's Club is, and start listing out. It just makes us think like, oh, wait, I have a friend that has a boutique there, something like that.
Got it.
All right. Tori, is Tori on?
I don't think she's here.
No Tori either? Uh-oh. Okay. All right, so moving on, did we miss any committed members that somehow we skipped over? Everybody good? Did we have anybody hop on that was a visitor, Rocky?
I had one person hop on, but I told him that we were closed this week and to come back next week.
Okay. Well, Rocky, we had a couple that were pretty much making the decision, but I didn't know if they had ended up hopping on.
I don't think Rocky's on anymore.
Okay.
No, I am on.
Oh,
It looks like it's just Sonia. The other two didn't jump on.
Okay, thank you. So normally we would introduce our visitors and give them an opportunity to share how we can help them, but we're going to skip that part. All right. So now I'd like to call back on our wonderful Vice President Heather to talk about the VP report.
Okay, so I don't have any numbers for the VP report at this moment, but the fun part about the VP report will be finding out, who did their good numbers, whether you did a lot of one-on-ones, if you had, attendance, if there's any issues, referrals, those kinds of things that we will go over during my report time.
Awesome. Thank you, Heather. So yes, because I haven't taught you yet how to do some of this, we hopefully will have some of these numbers for next week. We want to get y'all up to speed on getting these in. And so at the end of today, I'm going to teach you how to input some of the things into the app. And then I need to get with your leaders to learn how to navigate the system so that it shows up in a reportable form. So thank you, Heather. Oh, I forgot this part is you too. This is about who we're looking for. So.
Okay, so we are looking for, anybody you can think of, but open classifications of interest right now are nutritional supplements. Heard a lot about commercial real estate agent. I would love to have a commercial real estate agent myself. General contractor, a title company, CPA, bookkeeper, cosmetics and skincare would all be great applicants right now. So if you know anybody, please let us know.
Awesome. So this screen is something that you would change every week, and something that's smart. So one of Rocky's people that was going to be on today is nutritional supplements. So guess what I put on the screen? So when you have registered visitors that are some of these chairs that you go ahead and use that and put that on the screen, like showing them, hey, we've got that open seat, come join us. So use those registered visitors, use who you know that's coming, and adjust this screen every time. This is also a place where if we have any pending applications, so it doesn't matter where it falls in the application process, but when one has been received, even if they haven't been interviewed or anything else yet, you want to list that pending application here, and here's why. It is the members' responsibility to come to the membership committee if there's any problem with an application, meaning something about that person, why they aren't a good fit for the chapter, you want to bring that to the membership committee. So if you see Sally Smith, in her company name, and Sally Smith has done terrible jobs for people, you've heard all kinds of negative stuff, this is your opportunity to go to the membership committee and let them know that, hey, I don't know about this person being in our chapter because this and this and this. Or if there is something that really conflicts with your chair, and you want to also bring that to the membership committee too. So that's why it's very important to put on here what applications are pending, so that the member has that opportunity to go to the membership committee. Okay. Next up, Amber.
So in the speaker rotation, which I will announce every week for the next 6 weeks, I will let y'all know who's going to be speaking, and then we will also at that time request who the next person wants to have at that meeting. So Brianne, who would you like to attend next week's meeting? What industries, people would you like to have at the meeting next week?
It's a good question. I would love a chiropractor or physical therapist. Sorry, I was not expecting this question. It's been a day.
Tell me about it.
Oh my goodness. I guess a nutritional, like, supplement type person would be good. Oh man, I need a little bit of time. Wait, I have notes. Hang on. If you want to come back, I can private message you that, or put it in the group chat, because I don't want to hold the meeting.
Yeah, just put it in the group chat. So, and I'll stop the flow for a moment. But so we don't have the other. I asked Brianne, since we're having an open meeting next week, and it is great opportunity, right, to hear from a member. And so we do like to ask that to whoever's speaking, like who you want us to bring, even if it's not somebody that might want to join BNI, you want to invite them, you get them counted as a visitor, and then they can hear, that way Brianne can really showcase her business to them. So it's a giver's gain thing to really listen to what your member wants and to bring them to the meeting. Whether or not they're interested in BNI, it doesn't matter. Of course, ideally, they love BNI, fall in love with BNI and actually join. So that would be the ideal thing. So we don't have the other dates. Normally, this is all scheduled out for the next 6 weeks. But we still need to, I need to talk with the leaders. We need to figure out some things before we start talking to people about dates. But I did want to give kudos to Brianne. She was the first person to complete MSP. And so she earned the right to do her first speaker rotation. And that's another thing, is until a member completes their MSP, they don't get in the speaker rotation. It's only once they complete. So that's a benefit to completing MSP, is that you get to be in the speaker rotation to do your 10-minute presentation.
Awesome. I had a couple I could rattle off really quickly, Amber. So I said chiropractor, like a nutrition or supplement person, physical therapist, a professional organizer, or a therapist or counselor would be a great person.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's for everyone to invite. So if anyone knows anyone in those industries, please invite them. Those are your visitors, but they're for, just say, hey, my friend Brianne is speaking on Tuesday, so please come to our meeting so you can hear what she has to say. They don't have to be like join or anything. It's just to hear her words, because she's going to be awesome.
Thank you, my friend.
And now you're up again, Amber.
So our guest speaker today is our wonderful, lovely director, Becky Ford. She received an accounting degree at Texas A&M. I can't whoop because I'm not an A&M person. So spent many years leading teams in different energy companies like Duke Energy, Enron, and Calpine. She's currently building a business with Young Living Essential Oils and sits on a founding board for Montgomery ISD. Becky has been in BNI for 5 years and serves in many leadership roles over many chapters, and one of 4 area directors in the Houston BNI West region. Today, we're fortunate to have her support and coaching and training for the rest of this wonderful training session and for our Woodlands Dream Builders. And let me introduce our guest speaker, Becky Ford. Woo!
Thank you, thank you. So the reason I had Amber do that is how we present our feature presentation. You edify them, okay? And so here is what anyone who's doing their feature presentation, here is what Amber needs from you. Either a written out bio, like I gave to her, or give her your bio and gains worksheet ahead of time so she can pull information from that to create an introduction for you. All right. So I went ahead and had her practice that, because next week Brianne is speaking, and so Brianne is going to need to send her bio and gains to Amber, and then Amber can kind of put together what she's going to say to introduce. So it's all about edification, edify, edify, edify. All right, so now I'm really just speaking because we're still in training, right? So, okay, so we're gonna get started talking. This is some part of what we didn't have time for last week, but we're gonna talk about the BNI core support model and some of the levels of support that we have, okay? So the first one is the foundation of BNI is all about having pure BNI infrastructure. So what is that? Pure BNI is all of the stuff we're teaching you now, right? So last week we focused a lot on the agenda. We got to a certain point in the agenda. We're still getting through it today. But we have an agenda for a reason. We have something that I've been teaching the presidents, and Alicia will hear in president's training when she does that this month on Zoom. there are different transitions between these agenda items, how to make it impactful for your visitors. There's a reason, there's a point on the agenda, there's a reason for everything. So getting back to pure BNI, what the foundation of BNI, we're going to go over in a little bit some of the BNI policies. So BNI has rules, if you will, and that's part of that BNI infrastructure. That's what makes BNI work, is by people following these rules, right? So BNI infrastructure is important. Infrastructure, I think I said that wrong. The next one is having a power of one culture. So we'll talk about that today as well, having a power of one culture and what all that means, but it's very important. And then when we get back to training after next week, we're going to talk about our mentor program and how that's so important, about having a visitor mindset and how to treat your visitors, always gearing a meeting toward them. How important it is to have regional participation and really stay plugged in to everything that BNI provides. And then finally, to have how we have balanced contact spheres. So from the mentor program up to the peak, we'll talk about those things in the next few weeks, but today we'll talk a little on the first two at the bottom, which is the core, right, of BNI. So I'm not gonna, I put this on the screen. I'm not going to go through. If you did your MSP, it should have been highlighted in there. You would have heard this. But I always like to highlight a few of these because, you know, sometimes people have questions. So if people have questions about certain ones, please let me know. The first thing is all of these policies that BNI has, they are not made up of. This wasn't made up just by Ivan Meisner or just somebody who decided this is how the rules we're going to follow. This was actually, these rules were created by fellow BNI members. So this is, as I said before, this is a 35-year-old company. There are things over time that they figured out worked and what didn't work. And through that process that they figured out, these are the policies that we're going to follow. And so as you've heard before, and we know, only one person from each profession gets to have a chair in your BNI chapter. And so when a person, you know, just like the mortgage that just got approved today, right? She essentially locked out her competition from this chapter, which is really smart because mortgage is really hard to get into for a BNI chapter. So we only have one person per chair in BNI. As I've mentioned before, skipping down to the number 3 there, the meeting lasts for 90 minutes, right? No matter where you go in the world, if you go to a BNI meeting, it's 90 minutes long. And that meeting does start, we didn't do it today due to time, but that starts with that open networking. That's part of the 90 minutes. And so I reminded you of this, and I've reminded you of this in an email too, but members need to arrive early. It says on time, really early, and stay for the entire meeting. It's not good. It doesn't show you that you're very visible or credible if you're constantly leaving a meeting early or getting there late. It's just not a good practice, right? So members are expected to be on time and stay for the entire meeting. One particular person cannot join multiple BNI chapters. You can, however, have one company that has multiple, you know, like I think with Alicia, her husband is in a chapter, or somebody from Eldridge, I can't remember if it's her husband, and then now she's in a chapter. That's perfectly fine, okay? But you definitely can't, one person cannot join multiple BNI chapters. And now I know that there are some of you that are in other networking organizations. As a policy, BNI doesn't, if there is a conflict where if you are supposed to be sending referrals to another networking organization and that's measured and that sort of thing, it's a little bit of a conflict to where do you send that referral? You know, if you're committed to this group over here and you're committed to this group over here, it's a little hard to know where to send your referrals. So that's just something to think about. I will admit, when I joined BNI, I was in another networking organization, WomTech. I'll just be blunt there with you. And, you know, so I knew eventually, I was kind of just evaluating and seeing, I knew of the policy, but it was like, you know, I'm just going to see where this goes. And I'll tell you, I found BNI to be so much more valuable that when it was time for me to renew and that other one, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to invest my time, invest my money with BNI. And when I made that decision to not split hairs and split my time, it exponentially helped my business too, because I was giving my 100% to BNI. Number 5 there, attendance is critical to the group. It's critical. We even do education moments all about why attendance is critical. And this is a policy. You are allowed, so the policy on absences is that you get 3 absences in a rolling 6-month period, okay? So what's a rolling 6 months? That means, you know, if you're talking January through June, once it hits July, now it's going February to July. It just keeps rolling like that. So 3 absences. So an absence is where there's no sub, you're just missing that day, and that's considered an absence. Now, how you can get around that and not have these absences count against you is to bring a substitute. Now, here's kind of the catch-22. When we're in training right now, the people that are absent are just absent because there is not an opportunity to bring a sub that would actually serve no value to that sub, right? So when we're in a normal meeting sense, you want to find a sub. In fact, I want to be represented anytime I can. So I have a sub each and every time. The only times that I save my absences for those things, like, not that this happens to me because I don't really get sick, but if you wake up and you just are sick that day, the morning of your meeting, sometimes it can be hard to find a sub that day. That's an appropriate time to use an absence. When you're on vacation and you know that you're about to be on vacation, there is no reason why you shouldn't have a sub. So who can be subs? This can be anybody who can read your commercial, right? It really can be anybody. The best sub is going to be somebody who has a business where they could join BNI. So they could be not only your sub, but get counted as a visitor as well. So that's like the best situation for a sub. The next best is somebody from your company. So maybe one of your team members, if you're doing network marketing, maybe just somebody from your company that does the same thing. So they can't join your chapter, but maybe they can join a different chapter so they can get some exposure to BNI that way. And then the third best is bringing your mom or somebody, your neighbor, you know, that doesn't have a business, or bringing another BNI member. And that's why it's so important to be on that Facebook group that I announced last week. So the BNI Houston West Region members only Facebook group. That's what we do as BNI members. It's giver's gain. We sub, you know, if you can find a person that will sub for you, and then you turn around and help them out and sub for them in a meeting. So it's a great relationship building thing. So subs are super important. The guideline, not a firm rule. Of course, the chapter can make it what they want. A guideline is that you only have 3 absences and 3 subs in a 6-month period, but that's kind of a membership committee decision. Ultimately, you want to be present in a meeting, but if somebody is a really good member and they're still passing referrals while on vacation and they're still doing their one-to-ones, you know, that person might be, it's probably okay that they have a little more subs. So I'll be coaching the membership committee on that, and Shannon will too, as that arises when we're looking at different reports. Again, I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm going to try not to. But it is about bringing bona fide referrals. You know, it is a requirement to bring referrals and visitors to BNI. So you hear us talk about that a lot, like who can you bring? And we're trying to grow the group. And that is part of what is expected, is to bring those referrals and visitors to BNI. A visitor, so this means a BNI member, another BNI member in a different chapter. This means any visitor. They only get to come, this means your sub too, only gets to come 2 times in a 6-month period. If they come more than that, then they're building relationships that they haven't paid to do, right? Like that's not really fair for them to build those relationships when they're not actually a member of the chapter. So visitors can attend twice in a 6-month period. We're not doing door prizes right now, but normally the speaker would bring that. We don't really need to address medical leave so much. That doesn't really apply. We can address that as it comes up. And number 10 is kind of addressing what I've already talked about, how it's the member's responsibility to come to the membership committee if there's anybody that conflicts with their classification. And let's see, any problems, that sort of thing, all go through the membership committee. Y'all can read through that or listen to your MSP again if you want to get more details. Something on this number 13 is so there's times when a member's classification may be opened up, okay? It's up to the membership committee. But it could be that you're not complying with the policies. It could be something that you're not in line with our core values, right? It could be performance related. Now, if it's performance related, what we do as mentors in the mentoring program is coach people. We give them an opportunity to improve. But you guys are off to a great start. I mean, obviously, it's like you're starting from scratch. So we'll talk about the power of one in just a second, and you'll know exactly what it is to stay in the good graces, right? And you won't have anything to worry about. And so you can just read the rest of this or take a screenshot. We're not going to harp on, I know it's a lot of words on the screen, so apologize for that. Okay, so let's talk power of one. You're going to hear power of one a lot. We celebrate the power of one all of the time. And so the whole thing around the power of one, it's about the power of what one person can do to give to their chapter, okay? And so the things that a member immediately has the most control over, the things that are the easiest to do is show up, attend every week. If you attend every week, that's like easy to do, and you're going to be in good graces, right? So attending every week, so we expect you to come every week. That's part of BNI. The other thing, skipping down, that's very easy for a member to do and that you have complete control over, is 1 CEU a week. So like we alluded to before, chapter education unit, that's what CEU stands for. And BNI, that's one of the great things about BNI is how much education we do have, you know, from the convenience of an app on our phone, right? Or the computer, but I love the app. And so this helps not only for you to be a good BNI member, but so much of it translates into being a good business person too. So we expect 1 CEU a week. With you guys being so new right now, you're racking in those. There's so much opportunity for training right now as a new member through MSP. And then for you leaders that have your leader online training and the Zoom training in the month of September, you're going to rack up quite a few CEUs doing that, which is going to be great. So CEUs, those 2 things a member has total control over. The next is one-to-ones. We expect you do one-to-one on average per week. We already talked about that when we were doing the talk on one-to-ones. And then if you're doing them effectively, like we were just talking about doing, that's going to result in a referral. And so bringing 1 referral each week, that's the goal. And then, so those are all per week, per week, per week, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then we want you to bring, at this point in the game, 1 visitor a month. So see, I told y'all when we were in launch, it was about bringing somebody every single week, right? Now it shifts over a little bit to, it's about now getting to know one another, giving each other referrals. And we still want to grow. That's still very important. But the guideline here is 1 visitor a month. Now, exceptions to that, like next week's a great opportunity because we have an open meeting to visitors. So it's a good time to go ahead and get that one, at least that one, right? Because we're in that growth mode. And then when there's a visitors day, you want to really spend your time inviting to that visitors day, because you know there's a power to getting so many people in a room or on Zoom, where you want to have your visitor be there when all those other visitors are. So any questions on that piece? Okay, so I want to show you, again, it's a lot of words, a lot of numbers on the screen, but each month, because we're measuring these things, right? We're measuring who's attended, who's given referrals. Those are the things that you put in on your phone. Each month, there is a power of 1 report that gets sent to the directors, and the directors get it to you. And the goal is green. You all have the opportunity to be in the green, like from the very beginning. And if you do the things that I told you to do in that screen right before this, you'll be in the green, okay? This is where I was giving Shannon kudos, because she has had a score of 100 every single month since she joined. So that's pretty amazing. I will admit my highest is 95. And the reason for that is because I've had more subs, because I had a string of a lot of vacation stuff. Obviously not during COVID, but it was last summer. And the subs give you a little bit of a ding, not as full on as missing a meeting, but they give you a little bit less in points. But all of my other things were always, I had max points on the other things. It was just the attendance. So, but even look at somebody down here, and this report is actually a lot of the directors in the region. It's the director's report. But look at this, Scott Goodall. You know, he can still be in the green in total. He's got a 90, and he hasn't even brought many visitors, right? Like he's kind of in the red, which isn't good. On the visitor thing. So you could still show up in the green. And what's great about seeing something like this in a report, it really shows you, to me, if I'm Scott and I'm looking at this report, I'd be like, oh gosh, I didn't even realize I haven't brought any visitors lately. I better get on that. You know, it just makes you aware of if you're holding up your end of the bargain there. So we want all members in the green. We especially want any leader in the green, because you're the people leading the charge. It's hard to hold people accountable if you're not doing what it takes to. So any questions there on the power of 1? You'll be hearing more about that. There's podcasts about that as well, if you want more information. This is just a quick little scoring, how it's scored. So it's kind of showing you, I think it's a 75, a total score of 75 and above, you're in the green. If you want to if you're into this and want to know how it's all figured out, take a picture of the screen. That's not going to be everybody's thing. I'm always curious of how it's calculated. So you might want to take a picture of the screen to determine how it's scored. But it looks at, you know, obviously if you don't bring 1 visitor every month, if you're not 100% on that, you might get 15 points or 10 points, and that's okay, right? It just shows you where you can improve. All right, we're not going to do this part today, but in a normal
Hey, Becky, will you go back real quick so I can snap that?
Sure. Let me know if there's some chats that I need to see when I'm talking, because it's hard for me to check the chat and think about what I'm saying. Did you get it? Are you good, Shannon? I hope.
Yes, we're good.
Okay. All right. So this is the part of the meeting where we would take a turn very quickly. This isn't like a full minute or anything like that, but we would go back through the members and you would bring, this is the I have portion of the meeting. So in this part of the meeting, Alicia would start and she would say, you know, I gave a referral to Katie, and maybe say a testimonial about somebody. So it's either referrals or testimonials that we're talking about here. Because remember, we're supposed to be bringing at least one referral each week. And so the idea here is you're really showing visitors and members about how much people are referring and how much value there is in this BNI chapter. This is also a place, so the reason we have this opportunity for testimonials is because we do realize that sometimes you're not going to have the referral that week, right? It's an average. The one per week is an average. So if I gave 4 last week, not that I'm going to purposely not try to give a referral this week, but I'm okay if I don't, because I'm still averaging my 1 a week. But what I'm not going to do is stand up in my meeting and say, I don't have a referral this week. That's like a no, big no in BNI, is to say, I was on vacation and I don't have anything. Ew, talk about a mood killer in a meeting when you're having all these, I gave a referral to this person, I gave a referral to this person, and you get somebody saying that, like I don't have anything. Please do not say that. So this is where it's a great opportunity to give a testimonial to somebody. It's a way to edify them as a person, them as a business. It could be that you've used the service or you've given a referral and you've heard this great story about how they, you know, served them. It could also be that you had a one-to-one with somebody and you learned X, Y, and Z about them, and you got very excited about passing them referrals, and you just are pumping them up. Like, I learned all of this, you know, about Tony, and now I know that I'm going to go look for these people for him. And so give a testimonial based on the one-to-one at the very least. So it all ties in together. If you're doing your one-to-ones, if you're doing, which you should have referrals, right? But if you don't, you at least can give a testimonial in this section. And it really is valuable to the visitors to hear this. And then right after this, so this will be, we're not going to do it today, obviously, but this is another spot for Heather, the VP. This is where Heather will be pulling, when I show her where this report is and when we have numbers, there's something called a SLIPS audit report. And so we have this referral reality check where she's pulling a random referral that was passed about 2 weeks prior. So this will be something that's already been reflected in the BNI system. There's a place to find that where it's actually going to show that Alicia gave Amber a referral. And basically what is going to happen here is Heather would say, you know, okay, so for our referral reality check, I saw a couple weeks ago that Alicia gave Amber a referral. Alicia, what can you tell me about how that referral came about? And Alicia will talk about how she found this referral for Amber. And then Amber will get to talk about the status of that referral. So what that does is it kind of is a check to make sure, hey, it's like a little audit, right? Like it's a legit, making sure it's a legit referral. It also could serve as if somebody fell on their job, right? It could be a place where it's holding everybody accountable that, hey, you know what? I could be the referral reality check this week. I don't want to not have called this referral that I was supposed to call. So they're not always going to be perfect. I mean, in a perfect world, she gave a referral that resulted in all this thank you for closed business. It doesn't have to be that way. It could be that, well, yeah, I talked to her. I really wasn't able to help her myself, but maybe I passed the referral on to another friend. You know, that could be the story. But this referral reality check is something that we do in a BNI meeting. And then at this point in the meeting, this is where Alicia is going to thank our visitors. And I'm still going to have to train you guys, I need to get with the leaders so we can talk about this, but there'll actually be a visitor orientation where the visitors go to a breakout room with one or two, I like two more than one, existing members, and that are really good at selling BNI, right, to the visitors. And they're going to talk about how much it costs, and they're going to talk about, you know, a little about maybe the power of one and what is expected. So we'll talk, but they'll go to a breakout room, and we, the members, will finish our meeting. And so this is where Amber would talk about any upcoming renewals. We always want to make people aware when they're up for renewal, and any special
The way
announcements.
y'all are all up for renewal and y'all all owe money.
Yeah. So obviously on the renewals, she's not going to have a whole lot to say on that for until a year from now, right? Oh, no, my dog's starting. Stop it. But if anybody has any overdue money, you know, there are going to be some chapter dues of some sort. She might talk about there. Hopefully she doesn't have anything to talk about there, which is great. In this special announcements section, this is where it's any announcements for events, chapter events. If somebody's you want your chapter members to come to an event you're doing for your business, this is the place for that, is in this special announcement section. So the visitors will be off talking, and it's more like, hey, now that the visitors are gone, we can talk about stuff that maybe, it could be that the membership committee or the VP is like, hey guys, y'all weren't on time, like make sure to be on time. Like it could be something like that, like reminders that you don't want to say during a meeting, because you want to keep that energy and that flow going.
Really, this is where you talk about speed networking and to make sure and sign up for next week.
Yeah, so whether it's a BNI event, a chapter event, training. So I'll just say right now, announcement for the leaders. You know, I've focused a lot about the BNI online training and getting that done, the MSP, all of that. But there is a Zoom training that you guys need to be on, that all leaders are going to be on in September, right? So if you are any of those named leaders on that leadership list at the beginning, there is a training you need to be on that's a live Zoom training. So the next opportunity for that is this coming Friday. It's each Friday or Monday the rest of the month. And so the last two opportunities, I was teaching the presidents. This Friday, I'm teaching mentor coordinators. I believe Jen has already done her mentor coordinating training, which is awesome. So I'll send y'all an email about that too as another reminder, but we need to get that. That's part of the thing. It's just going to save time in this whole training thing if you go to that Zoom training, and you'll be there with other people all over the region and in the core regions.
Becky,
So
where is that live training? Like,
where to find it?
Because I did my personal VP training classes, but where's this live training?
Yeah, so good question. Forgot to tell you. If you go to bnihouston.com, that's our regional website, and click on events. And when you click on events, it'll just pull up the September calendar, and look on Friday and Monday, you'll see president, VP, secretary, you'll see all of them kind of listed. You might have to click on each one to open up the details, because since there's so much on that day, it kind of gets mushed together. But there will be for each position, there will be a training in the morning and the afternoon that are the same training, just two different opportunities on each Friday and Monday for the rest of the month. So you can start by going this Friday, you can start going next Monday, whatever. Just you want to pick the training for your position. So VP and membership committee are together, right? So you could even coordinate your whole group if you wanted to. You don't have to be on the same one. That one trains together. So you want your position training, and then you also want to be on a open, what you call it? An open session. there's one called open session, and that's like a general session. You want one open session, and you want your position training. And that's going to be about probably 4 hours total. So it is like a morning or an afternoon. And you don't have to.
A good idea is to get together in your chat and plan the day to do the opening session together. We did that in our group. We're all doing it on the 21st. So yeah, that makes it a little more fun.
And depending on your timing too, it doesn't have, the open session and the position training doesn't have to be on the same day. To me, it's easier because you're just kind of blocking, a time, but it can be on different days. But I would get signed up for that because you're obviously competing for spots with the whole region. So, all right, while we still have a few minutes left of our agenda, I wanted to teach you guys how to register your visitors. So now that we're opening up for visitors next week, this is what we do. So from this point on, when you have a visitor that has said yes, so you have invited somebody, they say, yes, I'm coming, you go to your app and you register your visitor. So here's why it's so important that you do. Number one is when you register your visitor, you get credit for them. It attaches your name to that visitor. It also alerts the leadership team that somebody's coming because they are going to need a Zoom link, even though you might be giving them the Zoom link on the side, right? Which, by the way, I hope to have your chapter Zoom link before next week. I'm still following up on that. It's a slow process, apparently. But usually the president or somebody on the leadership team is the one that sends the Zoom link when they get that registration notice that somebody's registered. The other thing registering a visitor does is it sends them some automatic emails, which is great. It just gives them another touch, right? Like you're inviting them, and then the day before, it kind of sends them a reminder of, hey, you're attending this meeting. So it's another opportunity to get in front of them. So if you want to take out your phone and look, or I have the screenshots here, basically at the bottom, you'll see where you click on visitors. And when you click on visitors, you want to go to this invite to my chat. No, I'm sorry, register a visit. This register a visit. Now, I don't think you guys have the myself opportunity. That might just be my screen, but you want to register a visit for a visitor. Okay. And when you do, here's what you need. You need their name, their business name, their email, and their phone number. Okay. Those are the main things. It'll also ask what category they are. So it kind of can get tricky. You kind of have to do the drop downs to figure out the right category. You'll eventually learn that as you do more of these, but you definitely want to register your visitors. There's other reasons from a tracking standpoint. It just makes things, because if you're not entering the information, the visitor host is going to have to manually enter that later. And it's just not, it's a lot, it can be a lot of work if there's a lot of visitors. So we try to, the proper way to do it is you register your own visitor, you get credit for it. Then it's as simple as the visitor host going in later into the system, which I know is still yet to be taught, but checking a box saying they attended. Okay, so if you get a yes, you want to follow this process. And I'll teach you a little bit about logging a one-to-one. You'll see one-to-one screen at the top where you click on one-to-one. Only one person needs to record the one-to-one, not both of you. When you enter it, so if you look on here, and I think what's funny is, I think when I did this, like Shannon, I had logged in on August 6th. And the next day, Shannon actually logged the same one on the next day. I went back and deleted that later because she didn't look at her app. I had already logged it. So you do want to kind of pay attention and see, like, did somebody already record our one-to-one before you enter it? Or in your one-to-one, decide who's going to enter it. Only one of you needs to enter it, and it shows up for both of you on your app. Referrals. I know it's 5 o'clock. Give me just a couple minutes. Referrals. So on a referral, it's going to require you, when you're sending a referral to somebody, to put in a phone number or email or some kind of contact information. So like we talked about, that's what counts as a referral, and it will require you to do so. An inside referral is somebody in BNI, like you, right? Like it's you or whatever, you're referring yourself to somebody. If it's an outside referral, that means you've referred your neighbor to somebody in your BNI chapter. I mean, if that's not that's kind of the guideline. Don't stress out about that. Just give the referral, right? Like that's the most important thing. This how hot is the referral? That doesn't really get tracked. Don't spend a lot of time stressing over it. What I tend to do is, if I'm not sure if they're going to do business with them, I give them this orange middle one. If I'm like, oh, I know they're going to use this person, I'm like, no, they need it now. They need the service now. It's for sure. You know, I might say it's a hot referral. Thank you for closed business. So this is the main thing, because now is the time we want to have some good numbers for next week, right? So this button, thank you for closed business, right here. We want to thank, of course, if you go to the drop down, it will show the members in your chapter. If you're thanking somebody in a different chapter, you have to search for them using this little hourglass. And here's where, you know, you can say if it's new or repeat business. An inside referral, meaning BNI member to BNI member. An outside referral, or a tier 3, like where you weren't even involved in the whole thing. These next couple pages, y'all might want to take a picture of this, because depending on what you do for a business depends on how you record your thank you for closed business. So I'm not going to go through all of this right now. If you have a question, we can talk about it. But when, for example, when a realtor sells a home for $400,000, they don't get to turn in $400,000 of thank you for closed business. They're entering the realtor fee, and they're entering the fee that was paid. It doesn't matter if you only got a portion of that realtor fee, and maybe your broker got a bigger portion. You do the whole broker fee, right? Like what was paid as commission. So each one of these things is a little bit different. So make sure to take a picture of this. I'll give it a second, and then there's another screen. The insurance, it's premium for the year. Financial advisor, you can kind of read there how to do that. And this one's a little small, I know, but service providers, it's whatever the amount you're charging for that service. Product providers, I'll just tell you, doing essential oils, it's not just the commission. If somebody buys something for $50, I am putting $50 into thank you for closed business. It's the product amount. So see how everything's just a little bit different. Banking's a tricky one. We don't have that yet, right? I'm trying to remember, but take a picture of that screen. And then I think we're done. Oh, CEUs. Then we have the CEU, where it's pretty self-explanatory, but you can choose to do, if you're, of course, a CEU, one CEU equals 1 hour of learning. So you can actually, since you're learning today, between last week and this week, you can actually enter 3 hours of CEUs. We had an 1.5-hour meeting last week, an 1.5-hour meeting this week. It was not a real meeting, right? Like you're in training. So you earned 3 CEUs for last week and this week. So if you haven't recorded that, go ahead. And what you could do here is put a 3 where it says 1 hour CEU, or you could go down here to 3 hours and put a 1, and it'll give you 3 CEUs. Clear as mud? All right. And then we end the meeting with a closing quote, which that was just what was on there. And then that would be the end of the meeting. So sorry I kept y'all 5 minutes over. You're getting CEUs, that's okay, right? Does anybody have any questions or something I can expand upon?
Becky, can I ask a question, like everybody a question?
Sure.
So you guys how it works for chapters that are already established and moving forward is we have these mentor worksheets. You can't really see it, but I get to fill in 2 people out of 10 slots, 2 people for every slot, and there's 10 slots. Some of them, like the president and past presidents, I'll reach out to those people individually. But if you're finding that you have a strength, whether it is already bringing so many visitors, one-on-ones, you're having a really easy time with the university or even Connect and logging everything in, I would love for you guys to personally message me and let me know your strength. That way I can connect you with new members. Not just new members when they come in to meet with them one-on-one. I will give you a script and then you can finish your remaining session as a one-on-one. So it's even going to count towards your numbers in a positive way. But also if you're struggling with something, please let me know ongoing throughout the year. And then I can also pair you up with people who are really succeeding and having an easy time with referrals, one-to-ones, university, to continue your education and be able to guide you guys as well. So if you guys can personally reach out to me and let me know your strengths already, where you are struggling, because the mentor training was amazing. I was able to learn a whole lot. And I can go ahead and guide and help where I can. And then as you are understanding things or if referrals are getting easier for you or one-to-ones, please let me know so I can update the sheet and also start matching people based on personality types and also business and referrals.
And what will be a great tool for you is that power of one. So you'll be able to identify where some people, whether they come to you or not, right? Like you'll be able to identify where somebody might need a little extra help. So,
and I can get with Heather on that.
Yeah. Did somebody else? Did David, were you waving your hand?
I'm a little confused. Katie's trying to clarify for me. I just want to be clear. So my insurance is, I'm a commission-based sales, right? So I only earn money on the policies I write. But you had 2 lines. You had one if you're commission-based sales, and they had another one that said if you sell insurance. So
the insurance one.
Okay, so it's APV. That's all you care about. That's fine. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, no problem.
And then that's reoccurring. So if they buy a policy and then they renew in a year, then they would get that thank you for closed business every year or every 6 months.
Oh, okay. So if they renew, put that in again. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. And in fact, so let's take an insurance policy. Typically, an insurance policy is written for a year, right? Even if somebody pays monthly, it doesn't matter how they pay. If I'm getting an insurance policy, I am turning in 1 referral. Even if I pay monthly, I'm putting 1 referral in for that year, right? Of course, I get thank you for closed business, each month or whatever from you. If I decide to basically renew my insurance again, because it kind of is like I have a choice, right? At that point, do I renew with you or do I not? If I decide I am renewing with you, that's another referral for that new year. Okay.
Got it.
So that's something for a member to know if it's an insurance situation like that. Like whenever you have the choice of, do I use this person or do I go somewhere else? Now an exception to that. So when I say exception, it's not really exception. Like I have a mosquito service, like pest control, those kind of things. I have a mosquito service that it's not a contract. I can literally tell him not to come. I'm not breaking any kind of contract, but it's understood that he's coming every month. I am not turning in a referral every month for that because that's just understood that he's coming. I turned in 1 referral. So if I'm making the choice and I'm calling him each month, like, hey, I want you to come out today, then it's a referral, a new referral. Does that make sense or am I confusing?
No, it does. I wasn't sure because I saw 2 categories I would have fit in and I wasn't sure which one. So
but if you join Brianne's gym, then you get a gym membership, then you would get that monthly, or would you just do it? Is it a contract, Brianne?
I don't have a gym or memberships. I don't do that. I do
okay.
packages. So it would be, I would input the cost of the package that they paid for.
Okay.
Yeah, and if they're buying a package, then it's just one referral, right? If they go away for a while and then come back to Brienne later, it can be a new referral. But if it's this ongoing relationship, it's not a new referral every time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions from what we talked about? Did y'all find that helpful? Did that clarify some things? A lot of that is in your MSP.
I have a question, and I apologize if it's already been answered. Thank you for closed business. Let's say, Becky, I buy from you and I buy some oils. Do you record that in your numbers since it still is BNI related?
Yes.
So
So
even if I'm in a different chapter than you are?
yes, good question. So anything you do with another BNI member, doesn't matter if it's in your chapter or a different chapter. If anybody is in BNI, right? Shannon, she's in a different chapter. Me, I'm a director, I'm still in BNI, right? Like any of that across counts, like one-on-ones count, referrals count, thank you for closed business counts. And instead of us showing up in your drop down, so when you go to like record a one-to-one or whatever, you'll only see your chapter members in the drop down. There's always a little hourglass next to it that you can search. I could give a referral to somebody in South Africa, and I can find them through that little hourglass search button.
So then would I count as a referral to you? Would you count that as a referral
Yes.
or no? Yes.
Yeah, you would.
I knew it was a tier. I didn't know if it was a 1 through 5. So then let me ask you this question. The other meetings, is there a policy on going and visiting other meetings to be able to get to know people personally as well?
We definitely encourage it. So for sure do it. You just have to follow the same rule of 2 times in a 6-month period.
Okay.
In a rolling 6 months. So literally, if you just took your, time, like going, we have 47 chapters in our region, right? So like you could do them every week and still not have time to do everybody twice. So.
Or you can go to the networking, speed networking.
That's right. Then you can, because then you can meet.
I've done that 3 weeks now, and it's been awesome. It's like super fast, but hey, I got a taco dinner out of it today.
Yeah. Now I will say this though, and Amber should know this because she's been, that counts as a CEU going to speed networking. It does not count as a one-to-one. Okay.
Yeah. Right. And we talk about that, but I want to say, since you're all new and you're trying to get to know new people, really utilize that Facebook group. I use it weekly. Like yesterday, my daughter-in-law got rear-ended, and she, of course, called me, and she was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, hang on a minute. And I posted in the BNI group because I don't know an auto body repair person. So I posted that in the BNI group, and I got several referrals, and then I was able to reach out to someone who was able to help her with her insurance claim, which helped them. You see what I'm saying? So y'all are new. You're not, even when you're not new, it's hard to know all the trades, but that's a really great place to get referrals. Or if you don't know who to use, for referrals. And then the speed networking, yes. And that is also a good way to, you're going to meet 5 to 6 people on the speed networking in an hour to follow up with a one-to-one. And then you're able to do one-to-ones and share about your business, but also learn about other people's businesses as well.
So on that Facebook page, do I have to join it with like my personal account, or can I join it with our company account?
Either one.
Either one.
I approve them, so as long as I recognize it, right? And just, it has you answer questions, meaning what chapter you're in. So if people put their chapter, then I know they're in a chapter.
Okay.
Because sometimes we get people that it's like, you're not in BNI.
I would join these both, Jonathan.
Am I able to use both?
Yep, and the reason is because people will tag you and they'll also tag your business.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a personal Facebook account like I do, but I haven't been on it, but I use our company one quite a bit, but I can bring my old one back to life.
He's got to get it professional again.
Yeah.
So Amber, since you've been keeping track of attendance, will you actually send me last week? All you have to do is tell me who was absent, because so good practice for the membership committee is to, like, I'm concerned that people are absent already. You know, it's like during training, and that concerns me. So we want to reach out to them.
Harris called me before the meeting and she's like, I don't know who to call, but I was on my way, but like that was a sick kid. That's a different case situation, but I know, yeah.
But there's somebody that hasn't been on last week or this week.
Mm-hmm.
So
and there's been a few.
Right.
So I got it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please do. Because I'm going to personally reach out to them this time, but I'm just teaching you like in a normal thing. So in a normal thing.
Uh-oh, they're going to get the Becky call?
They're going to get the Becky call.
Watch
Rocky
out.
doesn't like the Becky call.
In a normal.
I'm not gonna lie, Becky. When you sent me a message and you're like, when you have a moment, give me a call. I was like, oh, what did I do?
Yeah, I almost thought that. Like I almost thought, like she's gonna think it's bad. It's not bad.
I so did. Sorry.
Heather's heart stopped.
Like, what did you want?
Hey, you will get to know me, and I'm really fun. It'll be you'll want to call for me because I'm all about let's go to a happy hour or something.
Is it on the visitor host? Is there usually only one visitor host? Because I think last time I said I was going to help Julia out, but I never really got added to the list or talked to about it.
I think we need a new visitor host is what I think we need.
So,
Hey, Becky, I'm going to jump. I met a realtor at a wedding that's in BNI in Dallas, and she wants to have a one-to-one. So
cool. Thank you, Rocky.
Talk to
Obviously,
you
if
later.
anybody needs to get off, we're way over time. I'm just staying on to answer questions, so don't feel like you have to stay on. Sorry, what was the visitor host? So yeah, they're actually, so we usually, a proper name that I should have on there is visitor host coordinator, right? The coordinator of the visitor hosts, just like Jen is the mentor coordinator, but there's actually going to be like 10 mentors, right? So we're not going to list everybody.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to, yeah.
But yes, like we need, so from a visitor host standpoint, we need people to help close the visitor orientation. That's typically visitor host role people. You know, the visitor host, of course, gets on early to a meeting, at least 15 minutes before a meeting. So if for some reason the main coordinator couldn't be on, you know, you'd want to make sure somebody is on that's a visitor host early like that.
That makes sense.
So yeah. In fact, when we're in a live meeting in person, you still have your visitor host coordinator, right? They're the ones that bring the sign-in sheet and set up the welcome table, and like there's an actual like table set up, all the stuff we train people on. Obviously, we don't have to do that right now, but so the coordinator typically handles that. But we're all visitor hosts. It's all about assuring that visitor and introducing them to people and making them feel welcome. So
perfect. That makes sense.
So I know Heather's on the phone. I was going to ask her a question. So Jen, I know you're good. You've been to your training. Sounds like you're already on the right track. I'm curious, who was doing your training?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, wasn't it a guy named Mark? I think it was a guy named Mark. Okay, I don't know who he is.
It was really great. It was great.
So something I need to send you. You could also use this as CEUs. We had it'll be a recording, but we have some rock star mentor coordinators in this region. And they were featured on a national call to like train everybody. And he was just talking about, it's not part of the official mentor training, I don't think, but he was talking about his way that he keeps track of everything, and it was just really good. That would be something good for you to listen to. So I'll send you that. It was a month or so ago. So
that would be great. Thank you for answering all my other questions, because I was just really curious about, like, if I refer Julia Fuentes for electricity, because we don't have an electricity person yet, if it counted towards everything.
Absolutely, it sure does.
And you can also give out a couple of names, like she was saying. You can do more than one. you know, so that you don't have to be that, you know, because like some people like to get quotes and then make the decision,
Right.
you know.
No, and that makes sense. And I was going to reach out and ask both of you ladies, and then like reach out to Julia and just some other people I know in BNI that are successful to possibly help us with mentoring this first few months before we, you know, while we're still growing.
And I'm here for
Julia,
you
I
as
don't know if you
well.
saw my message, but I'd really like to help out with the apps.
Oh, I haven't seen your message. Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I'm really
trying to,
good with
like,
the apps, so
awesome.
like
I need to
I've
get with
already
you.
got it mastered.
And I'm here too, Jennifer, if you need me.
Thank you, Shannon. I would like to set up a meeting with you just so I can get to know you better as well.
I'll send you an email.
Please.
Yeah, I'll send you an email.
And thank you for sending out the cards. That was so cute.
Oh, good. Y'all got them?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yes, I got mine.
Good.
Well, Becky, I have to hop off.
Okay.
Go pick up my husband. But yeah, if y'all can send me what you're really like great at and then what you're not, like feel like you're struggling with, that's all I have. And then I do next week have a visitor coming who is a virtual assistant. And then I'm trying to get an acupuncturist and somebody who owns a float center in here, but we'll see.
Next week, I think I have a plumber coming, and then I think they do business investments and stuff like that. So it's going to be those two people.
So you can register if they're already like, I'm coming, go ahead today and go register them.
Okay.
And the tip is if you register them for them, then they're more likely to show up. If you send it to them, a lot of times they never make it to that next step.
It puts that kind of like that responsibility on, like they don't want to let someone down.
Right.
Yeah,
I have a question about the registering. So I was out with some friends and I met someone that knew about BNI, which was really excited me because everyone I've talked to doesn't. But he knew about BNI. He was an old BNI member, but I don't think that he got in a clicky group. So I'm like, well, we're not clicky, I promise. But I couldn't find pest control on the list. So I just put other and just like, I don't know, we'll figure it out later.
Okay. So you did register him?
Yeah, I already registered him. His name is Lars. I mean, there's only one Lars. And then I had one guy come like our chapter day. And then I have another those two, that guy and Aaron and Andrew will both be commercial real estate.
Okay, cool. So I'm curious, Shannon, did you get the email saying that a visitor has been registered?
Well, I've gotten several emails, a few.
Okay, because just
a lot of emails.
Well, just to let you know, so your support director consultant gets the email when you register a visitor, and so does president, VP, and secretary treasurer.
Okay.
So y'all get the emails. So Shannon, I do want to teach you how to go in, like Amber's talking about. She's like, I couldn't find pest control. I'm going to teach you how to go change that, Shannon, in the back end.
Okay.
Because you can go, change.
I gotta get going, but thank y'all. It was nice seeing y'all this week.
Good to see you. Thank you.
I'll call you tomorrow with whatever.
Perfect. Sounds good.
You're good, I promise.
All right. Sounds good. See you later.
Becky, unfortunately, it looks like the Juice Plus people said that I think it's going to be the schedule does not work for them.
For both?
Well, that's what I got from Stephanie. She said after talking, she goes, I don't think it's a good fit for my business, my schedule, and for the investment it would entail. And they're kind of partners, so I don't know if Mary I want to do it or not, but Stephanie said that it's just too much for her.
I'll follow up because I talked to Mary yesterday and I let her know what the expectation was. And she seemed, she didn't sound like it was a problem for her.
Yeah.
I did tell her that because she asked me about both of them joining. And I said that I thought it would be better if they both wanted to be in BNI. I thought one should be in another chapter just because otherwise you're kind of splitting your business in your own chapter,
Yeah, yeah.
So because of the Tower Garden versus Juice Plus or whatever. But it sounded really, I was surprised Mary didn't show up because I thought she was going to turn in an application last night. Like that's how confident.
Well, yeah, I've been talking with Stephanie about this for over like a month and a half. Like since we began, she was one of the first people I reached out to. And she's like, yes, I'm going to come as a visitor. And then I actually saw her out